Coming in. You know what that means? It's Tuesday, 9 p.m., my favorite hour of the week. Hi, everybody. My name's Maria, and you have just landed at What's the Story with Maria. So welcome. We appreciate that you're here. So I just want, first of all, a special thank you to Jim Bell and Joe Rocks of Armed Radio. They are, thank you. And Jimmy is manning the ship. I have no idea what Joe Rocks is. It could be anywhere. But Jim is manning the ship. So we appreciate Jim, and we want to say hi to him. So we're going to wait for some of our friends pop on. They pop on as the show goes on. And this, I want to tell you guys, is the beginning of season 3.
What?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Season 3.
Season 3. So that's what I'm going to actually type something in. I'm going to type something in because sometimes it takes this to get everything going. All right. So, and then people start to pop on. All right. So we want to welcome you. This is episode 105, and we have been coming to you for 2 years now. So July 19th, 2017 was our first show, and now we're in our 105th show. So I said to myself, I wanted to do something very special for this particular show. I want to launch the 3rd season with a health and wellness. And Dr. Jackie was on the phone with us. Was it last week, Jackie, or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago. So Lynn Portis, genius, was here, and she is my one of my best friends and musical director, and she's been on the show many times, and she was here. We did an All Request Live show, which was hysterical. So she was here last week. And we wanted to, Jackie called in, and it was great, but it was really hard to hear her with the phone and all that, and I wanted to get her on. So we're focusing on health and wellness tonight, and Jay is my friend who is an actor and singer and all great things, but he also, for me, is the person that I go to most of the time if I have questions about diet or probiotics or Jay, what's wrong with should I have my knee examined? And he's like, hold on, do this first. So Jay is usually the person that does that. So anyway, okay, we are going to launch right into our show. And as people pop up, if you have questions tonight, please feel free to answer those questions. If you want to share our show, please feel free to do that as well. So Jackie and Jay, I may periodically look down and check the Facebook and see what's happening there and all that stuff, and be sharing the show as well. So we are coming to you from New York City tonight, and we want to say thank you for tuning in every week. Okay, so it's summertime. Summertime, the first thing I think of when I think of summertime is cookouts. I think of cookouts, ice cream. This is where my head goes. I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to have ice cream. I'm going to go to cookouts. Going to be barbecues. I automatically go to food.
Always.
Right. But then my second thing that I automatically go to is I can't fit into my pants. I'm not wearing my bathing suit. Nobody's going to see me at the pool. And so I have these struggles, these internal struggles. So I said to myself, this year it's going to be different. I am really going to try to get more healthy so that when summer comes, I can enjoy the summer the way I used to enjoy it when I was a kid. So this is Dr. Jackie Giuliano. Now she is Jackie Giuliano, but to me, of course now she's a doctor, and I respect her for that. She was this little girl that I met when Lynn and I were doing Tony and Tina's wedding together. Jackie was probably 6.
Yeah.
So that's how, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew you 3 little rascals, you and Nicole and John, and now you're a doctor, and so all these great things are happening. And I just went to your wedding. Was it last month?
It was May 18th. Yes.
Oh my God! The wedding of the century.
Thank you very much. It was awesome.
Of the century. It was a blast.
It was awesome.
So Jackie's on the show, and Jay is going to talk about. Jay, you're kind of a holistic guy, and you also are a physical trainer, right?
Physical trainer, certified in nutrition as well.
Beautiful. Okay, so who would like to start first? And let's go with, I'll throw this question out to you because I was saying to Jackie earlier, my thing, what I feel has happened in the last few years is that people kind of have lumped medicine and pharma in together.
Yeah.
And I know years ago we didn't think that way. You used to go to your family doctor. You loved your family doctor. You trusted them. If you didn't have a great family doctor, you found one that your friend recommended, and you went. You went every year for your physical. You had pretty good insurance. It was usually somewhere you worked covered your insurance. And in the last couple of years, that's changed a lot. Insurance has changed drastically. The price of insurance has skyrocketed. People have gotten discouraged. Then the pharma companies came in, all the crazy stuff. And I know a lot of my friends and family, we've kind of drifted away from taking care of ourselves the conventional ways. So, Jackie, what would you say? Like we were talking about so many things earlier.
I know.
I know. And, like I said that personally, I never had high blood pressure ever. And it just in the last few years has changed. Same thing with cholesterol. In the last few years, it's changed. And I said to my doctor, I'd rather try to do this before medication. I'd rather try to do this on my own. And you said that happens a lot.
Oh, definitely.
When you treat people.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So I am a big believer in you can avoid medications in most situations. I think that you don't need to be on medication for everything. I think that eventually it does get to that point. There are situations where, for example, if you have very, very high blood sugar, you should be on some medication to prevent from something else happening, like maybe be on an oral medication instead of having to go on insulin. That is definitely valid. But at the same point, if you're a diabetic, the problem is your blood sugar. If you're a type 2 diabetic, meaning it's coming really from more what you're ingesting, the sugars and the foods that you're eating, or maybe the lack of exercise as opposed to a type 1 diabetic who needs insulin because they can't make it. That's obviously something that's not up to them. That unfortunately is the cards that they've been dealt. But for type 2, when you feel like at least in the beginning it's up to your control, that's exactly what it is. It's your control. You have the ability to fix this. So my thing is, what is the issue and how can we fix this pharmacologically first? And that's where I think some of my mentality differs than some of my other, some other doctors who kind of are out there where they just do push a lot of medications. I think that there are definitely situations where you need it. I'm not saying that you don't, but there's a lot of things: cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar issues, in terms of diabetic or pre-diabetic. It's a big deal, and it's what we put into our bodies and how we take care of our bodies, or how maybe we don't take care of our bodies.
Right.
And this is the start of us. You said season 3, so this is
season
new
3.
You.
Yes.
New you. Time to make some big changes. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to. Everything to me has a rhyme and a reason.
Yeah.
Like nothing really even like what I cook and stuff for certain nights. But I really said to myself, okay, like this year, like the last time I was on a diet was 10 years ago, right? And I just don't like diets. I hate the word. I just feel like, it's just deprivation. But I said to myself, I just want to feel better. I want to feel better, and I don't want to give up my control of my body over to having to take medications. So, I mean, like you said, if you have to, you have to. There are times when there's no way around it. But if there's something that I can do, I can take actions that will change my life for the better, and I have the possibility of doing that, then I want to be able to do it.
Definitely.
So,
Absolutely.
Jay, I know you're really big on what you've always said to me, what you put in your body is so important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, food is the number one healer of the human body, in my opinion. Food and simple water. A lot of people don't even realize how simple it is to get rid of just anything having to do with kidneys, anything having to do with digestive problems. And, I hear people say all the time, hey, well, I don't really drink that much water. And
now let me ask you something, because this is crazy to me. And I know people very well that just refuse to drink water. What is the big deal with the water? Why would people not want to drink water?
So, I mean, I don't know if I can take it, but
Sure.
Our cells are almost 90% water.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is our body is made up of so much water. So, you can't drive a car on empty. So how can you function with your body when you don't have the fuel that you need?
Right.
So, I think that in terms of Jay said it, food is our fuel, food and water, and that's what we need. And people don't drink water. They say, oh, I had tea. tea or sodas or caffeine, it's a diuretic. It's making you go to the bathroom, and you're doing actually the opposite of water. Sure, coffee's made with majority of water, same with tea.
But it's almost dehydrating,
exactly,
right?
Because
then
you're just peeing it out.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
So dehydrating to the max.
Now, how about putting fruit? Because I sometimes I know that I've seen people try to do this, and it is appealing because it's appealing to the eye. Trying to add fruit to water. Does that help, or does that?
It helps to flavor it. You can do it that way. Absolutely, yeah.
But it doesn't take anything away from the water.
No, it's not taking anything. I mean, pure water is always the best.
Always the best.
Yeah, definitely. It's not taking anything away. Maybe it'll help it flavor a little bit.
Yeah,
you can squeeze a little lemon or lime.
Cucumbers. I see people do that.
Mints.
Yeah.
Is the big one too.
And it just looks so much more refreshing, I think. I mean, personally, I love drinking water all day. I need it. Like, I have to have it, otherwise I don't feel well.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't. It's not their thing.
It wasn't my thing either, believe it or not, growing up. I'm a Lower East Side kid, basically. I grew up with a pretty poor diet for the most part.
You've always said that, and that always throws me because you are someone that really eats healthy now.
Oh, it was, my family, they're wonderful, amazing people and stuff, but they knew nothing about, nutrition and food. So, they did the best they can, of course. And in that sense, the interesting thing about the human body is the human body is like a machine, basically. It needs certain things to function properly. Now, if we have like too many liquids that we say, oh, well, it has water in it. The problem with that is that...
You mean like iced teas?
Right. Yeah. We have to separate, we have to have water alone at some certain points. And this is the reason why. Because the human body itself has to break everything down and separate that, whatever that substance is, from the water so it can actually use the water for what it needs for different functions. Water is used for our lungs, for our digestive system, for our blood, for everything, for our skin.
Yeah.
For everything that our body, I mean, like Jackie was just saying here, I mean, really, like almost 90% of our body, something ridiculous like that, is basically composed of water. Now, I know this is like so boring to a lot of people,
No, but
totally.
I mean, it's the logical. It's breaking things down logically.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So now I want to throw this question out to you guys too: the genetics versus the environment. So, Jackie, you find that we were talking earlier, and you said that people come in and they fill out and they pretty much will tell you. They don't even realize they're telling you pretty much what their situation is. Do you find that a lot of people that are diagnosed with things, it's just a lineage?
There's yes and no.
Okay.
I think that there are certain things that absolutely are genetic. There are certain conditions that your parents had and maybe you're predisposed to, whether it's early heart disease or genetic diabetes or genetic, like we call it, familial hypercholesterolemia, meaning high cholesterol runs in your family. But there are those people who just say, my dad had it, so it was bound to happen to me. I knew it was a matter of time before I went on medication. And they didn't even give it a shot to try to work on what they're putting into their body, what they're eating, what they're doing. And I try to stray away from that. Now, if you've done all the right things and you are following your nutrition to a T and you're drinking as much water as you can and you are trying everything under the sun and it's still not budging, then yes, absolutely. Could it be genetic? Could it be something that, does need medication? Absolutely. But I think majority of it isn't necessarily genetic. I think it plays a role, but I think that you have to be that person who stops genetics from taking a role.
You do have a hand in it.
Yeah. Oh, you have a huge
even
hand
in genetics.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
It definitely.
And Jay, go ahead, because
we inherit there's another thing we inherit from our family as well. Our family's diet. We inherit our family's diet. I know that growing up, I really got accustomed to things that would completely light up my dopamine receptors.
Like what was it for you, Jay?
Oh, just all that great, greasy fried food that my family used to make, and I knew for a fact that it was. Oh, this is it. Yeah. No one can tell me that I can't eat this. No way.
Right.
And the biggest consensus for my family, I love my family, they're funny as hell. They say, oh yeah, but you gotta live, you gotta enjoy life, and stuff like that. And I don't want to take that away from anyone, because no one wants to be told, hey, don't do this, don't do that. But the interesting thing about it is that, I come from the mentality now, after learning what I understand about food, that I don't want to live my life later on being sick. I want to live my life later on.
Absolutely.
Having all these different circumstances. And I've really, physically, I've beat a lot of different things that my family, has. High blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all these things run in my family. And I've dodged every one of those bullets and stuff. And there's a lot of people in my family, both older and younger than me, that actually do have these different ailments and stuff. So yes, food is the number one healer of the human body. Water being part of that, anything that we ingest, and it's really awareness.
Now, how do you? Okay, so that's great. That sounds wonderful, right? On paper, that sounds like great. What's the big deal? Why don't we all get on board? How do you, either one of you, and I'll let you answer individually, motivate? Like, what would you say to the hardest case? The case that's like, look, it runs in my family. I'm going to enjoy my life. Don't tell me what to do. I don't care. I'd rather die happy and
I know nothing about this. I've
never
heard this.
Right. I'd rather, that's it. I don't want to hear it. Look, I'm going to go when I'm going to go. Could get hit by a bus tomorrow. What's a way to reach that person? Because I can be that person. I can be that person.
I was that person.
Yeah.
Okay. And I, over the years, what gets me is always fear. Fear will strike a chord in me. Like if I hear, you might need medication. No. What do you mean?
Right.
It's like then I start to think, oh God, no, this is not going to be good. And that's usually fear is a motivator for me.
Yeah.
Don't take this away from me. That's the biggest fear.
Don't take this away from me.
Don't take this away from me. That's a lot of big fears for people.
Yeah.
Now, do you believe that people can moderate? Are you people that you feel that people can do things in moderation? Like once they regulate their blood sugar, once they regulate all that, then people can maybe inch back to their lives
Yeah, I think for me, I think that I didn't realize this until I started working on it for myself, to be honest, but calling something a diet automatically has like a negative connotation to it.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I want to do this diet or that diet. As soon as you say diet, it's restricting.
Yep, I agree.
But if you say I want to change my nutrition, that's a whole different thing. I want to change what I'm putting into my body. So I think that immediately the words that you use do play a big role because people are listening. Doctors, they're listening to what their doctor is saying and trying to process all at the same time, which is very difficult, very, very difficult to do. For me to rattle off this,
I'm just going to jump in here because and there's a sadness. There's like a letting go.
Oh,
definitely.
In like these things that you're used to. They're like your friends.
Yeah.
Like for me, sugar is
food.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, sugar. I love donuts. I love all that stuff. I'm Italian. I love pasta. I love bread. My Uncle Johnny was a baker. We grew up like, when your uncle's a baker, that you have bread every day.
Oh, yeah.
So things like that. And to me, there's this sadness that goes with like giving that stuff up. But like what I'm trying to do now is just like for I just said to Jackie, I just want to fit back into my clothes. Like that's like, I don't need to be skinny. I just need to fit into my clothes again. But actually, what's happened in the last few weeks is I'm starting to feel like actually my mind is more like I'm more alert. I'm sleeping better.
Yeah.
These weird things that I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. And one of my cousins was saying her husband gave up carbs and lowered his blood sugar, and he's off the medication now.
Yeah.
So, those are the
incredible.
kind of things. But so what would you say to, and you can answer individually, to the not the hardest case, just a person that you're like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one.
I know. Do you want to go for it?
I can if you like.
That's fine.
Plain and simple. Worst thing you can use with a person that is already suffering or in fear is incorporating kind of shame, right? So that's making people forcefully, hey, or what are you doing, or anything of that sort. Right away is building up a wall for a person, for an individual, right? So shame should not be a factor when we're talking about food. 'Cause let's face it, most everyone has issues with food.
Yeah, you're right.
And because of that, It's not about dancing around people either, because I don't people please either, because it could be something that can save their life later on.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but finding the balance of how to explain things to a person is extremely important. One, keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an open mind to new things, nutrition. Not necessarily giving up.
You're saying that to the person.
To the person,
Mm-hmm.
to the person. Not necessarily giving up every single food, but maybe finding ways to prepare it that
In a different way.
much healthier, but at the same time, don't taste like you're eating sawdust.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Don't eat
Because
carbs.
that's freaking boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And I think the spices, I'm checking because sometimes
and
people...
they're good for you. Spices are good for you. Garlic is good
Yeah.
for you. Onions are good for you. Rosemary is good for you. All these things are good for the body. So, damn it, use it in the food.
That's right.
Yeah,
Make it
definitely
taste
right,
good.
Jay.
Make it taste good. You know?
Yeah, I think it's for me. It's you want to do something. You want to change your nutrition. You want to change your diet. You need to. It's not just about that, though. You can change your nutrition from left to right, but you do also need to add in that exercise. And some people are like, I can't exercise. I have a bad knee. I can't exercise.
I just heard this
I have a bad
weekend.
hip.
Someone said it.
And you can do so much more than you give yourself credit for. If you have really bad knees or really bad hips and it's difficult for you to walk, exercises can be modified. You can exercise. Anything can be done in a pool. It's the summer.
I was going to say,
anything.
I was going to say the low impact stuff,
Yeah.
like in pools, is amazing.
It's not weight bearing. It's what we call non-weight bearing exercise. You watch somebody move in a pool. My grandfather, who just passed, and we love, he was at some point close to 280, maybe. Like he was pretty heavy, and he had terrible knees, could barely walk. But every morning when he was in New Hampshire, he would waddle off to that dock, fall in, and he would swim like a mile. Like he would just
Really?
swim.
That's so
He
great.
could not walk,
Yeah, that's
And-
great.
Wow.
but could swim.
Wow.
And that's how it was his exercise, even when he was in Florida. Like
And he was in the
go-
Navy, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was in the Navy too. So my grandpa Joe. So
Wow.
great guy. But you have to incorporate. You have to change your nutrition, and you need to try to exercise. And people say, "I don't have time." I don't have time. Okay, I see patients. So I start at 8. I'm working all day, and
Right.
I'm on call, and I do this, and I'm getting my master's, and I'm newly married or getting a new puppy. Like there's so many
Right,
things that I
right.
do, and I give myself 45 minutes a day. To
45 minutes
exercise.
a day.
I need
And
to
what
incorporate that.
would your routine be?
So for me, I actually, maybe I'm a little different than some people, but I joined something called the Max Challenge, which is a 10-week nutrition and exercise regimen. They're all over the country now. It started in Jersey, right by where I work, and it was across the street from my office where I work. I had started it to lose weight for my wedding originally. I said, I see this gym every day.
And you
pass
lost 30 pounds. you
I
said.
did.
That's
I did.
crazy.
I lost
Amazing.
30, which is awesome.
Yeah,
which
That
is
is amazing.
incredible.
Yeah, that's great.
And I never thought of myself as a bigger person. I never thought of myself as that. But I think for me, my own victories were not all about the scale. My victories, my trainer, Randy, who's awesome, I love her. She says all the time, it's about these non-scale.
What do you love
victories.
about her? Because you lit up when you said.
Oh,
you love
I
her.
do love Randy.
Yeah, but what is it that she does that you love?
So it's part of, I think it's a part of the Max mentality, but her in particular, I think she really embodies it. It's about inspiring people. It's
Right.
about
That's so
high
important.
fives. Like we exercise, let's do 10 jumping jacks. High five. Do it.
Right.
Do it. How do you feel?
Great.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
It's that's the way to do it. You can do it. You can do so much more than you think that you can, and there's so much time. If you think you can't do it after work, wake up a little earlier. Give yourself that extra time. You're gonna sleep better. You're gonna feel better. Maybe you won't drop necessarily in pounds, but your inches.
Your
are gonna
inches.
drop. Inches.
Listen,
Big deal.
to me, what I think is so great is that when you can walk into a store and just pick out something that you love and it fits.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think about it. To me, that is a huge victory. So I don't really care what the scale says. It doesn't matter to me. It's really about putting something on, being like, oh, okay, I don't have to tie that differently or buy something else. Or I think that everyone wants to look good,
Absolutely.
So Jane,
Definitely.
now on the other side of it, she was talking about her trainer and the inspire. How does it make you feel when someone that you're working with as a trainer starts to get that. It clicks. Do you know when that happens? Can you tell?
Oh man, I can
It's
see
a nice
I
feeling,
can see
right?
the light. I can see the light in their eyes, and I can see the passion behind it. The main goal, in my opinion, that a trainer wants, if they're a good trainer, they want their clients to be self-sufficient and to be in the know. It's not like, just do what I tell you kind of thing. It's more like understand why they're doing this without you don't have to have 500 nutrition courses. You don't have to study anything, but just know simple things. They're going to basically save your life.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about the vanity of it. And let's face it, I'm a trainer. I'm going to have a certain sense of vanity in my life and stuff. But I think the most important thing is that even if I don't drop in weight or in this and that, the one thing that always improves is my health, like my internals. So
Right.
anytime any kind of exercise is done, if I can't do 45 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever,
Right.
anything is better.
Do as much as you can do. You know what I find is very helpful, like if you what you're listening to. Like for me, like Judy likes to listen to music. She picks out like her own playlist, and she likes to listen to I listen to podcasts because it gets my mind off of what I'm doing for exercise. If I'm on a treadmill or if I'm on the elliptical, it gets my mind off of it, off the time, because I'm getting through the podcast that something I'm really loving, or
Anything
an
to
audio book.
distract.
Anything,
to
right?
distract. It's
So that's what it
important
is.
to distract.
And whatever it is, sometimes people like Jackie was saying, was listening to an audiobook driving. They were driving a bunch of hours, and they listened to part of this audiobook. Like I love doing that when I drive to Boston, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. That makes the time fly by. So the same thing with exercise, things like that.
You have to exercise your brain too. I mean, this is exactly what you're doing. You've got to think about now. There, yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to.
No, that's a
exercise your
great
brain.
question. So, not just as you get old, but I think a lot of us are really inundated with a lot of stimuli. Our lives have become more of a multitasking kind of field, and then we have electronics, and so we're like bombarded with all this stuff. What do you feel is the best thing you can do for focus, like it medically or otherwise? What is something that you're like, okay, this is, whether it's a food, whether it's an exercise, what is the best thing to de-stress the mind?
To de-stress the mind. It's such a loaded question.
Yeah, I
we
know.
are so
But a good
right.
one.
It's a great question.
Yeah,
I mean,
it could
so
be
many
food.
great
It could
things
be,
we could do.
no,
So many
definitely.
great things we could do.
I mean, for me, I think that even my own focus improved once I started exercising. I think for me personally, I started exercising. I started getting my heart rate up. I started, like just taking better care of myself, eating better foods, and I just was clearer. My brain gets clearer. I slept better. Getting good sleep. Sleep is so important. Getting good, not just sleep. I don't mean go to bed, take a Xanax, wake up in the morning. That's not restful sleep.
Right. I'm not a big fan of that.
No.
Of any of that stuff. I find that anybody that does, I mean, maybe people that do, but most people I know that do that end up in not such a good place.
I mean, there are real indications for medications like that, and if they're done safely, absolutely. But medications like that are habit forming, because if you can't sleep and you can just push a button or take a pill and you can fall asleep, everybody wants an easy way out. We live in America. Everything is instant gratification. I need instant gratification. I need to sleep, and I need to sleep now.
But for one sacrifice, we are, I mean, let's face it, it is something that is still not natural, right? Which means the human body will somehow, some way react, not necessarily in the best way. It may not be now, it could be later on, it could be stomach issues, it could be medication, could
liver
cause
issues,
weight gain, absolutely, liver issues, kidney
and I
issues.
worry about, especially this ambient thing. Like I've seen people on it that don't even realize they're asleep and they're sleepwalking.
Right.
It's really scary.
I mean, the scary thing too that we see with a lot of these sleeping pills is that, your body, you have to listen to your body. If you can't sleep, why can't you sleep? What is the problem?
Exactly.
Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it what you're eating? Is it what you're drinking? Is it, is it something underlying that's going on in your body that they're telling you that? So it is important to follow up with your doctor. It is important to see your nutritionist if you have one. You know, it's important to figure out the cause of why you can't sleep. You know, do you have sleep apnea? Is there something else going on? Is there something?
But you know, a lot of people that have sleep apnea, from what I've heard, a lot of it does have to do with the foods they eat.
It does.
And weight gain as well. Weight gain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
we also weight at the same time.
no, it's true. It changes the way that you're kind of choking yourself in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, you know. So I just think like so many, and also one of the things that I do, like, because I live on naps because I have so many different jobs,
Yeah.
and they're at different times. So a lot of times I'm really sleep deprived, and I have to take a nap before I go to my second job or whatever.
Mhm.
But one of the things that I find that I do and works is I meditate.
Okay.
So
That's great.
I'll lay down and I'll say to myself, you might not end up sleeping.
Mhm.
So just meditate. And sure enough, I'm out in 10 minutes.
That's right.
Because I'll start to just let my mind wander.
Right.
You know, and things like that, like learning to I think it goes back to fear. That fear, I'm not going to be able to sleep. This is not going to happen. Oh my God. And then that keeps you awake. And then you start thinking about everything and just saying, I tell myself, this is going to be fine. At least I'm laying down.
Mhm.
You know, this is at least the pressure's off my feet or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I think if people start to do more of that, like, and if you want a really good meditation, by the way, and you've never meditated, my friend Emily Bruton Schilling recorded this beautiful meditation. And you can get it. It's I'll post it or have Leo post it. We're having some problems, and I want to if usually people type in and it's crazy, and I think that what Leo was texting me is that they can hear us and it's not a problem with the audio at all. I think there's a typing in issue. So, but if you are there and you want to type in, just so we know you're there, because he did text me that that's happening. But and I'll post it if someone doesn't post it. It's called ART, A-R-T, and A-N-D. Honor, HONOR, /meditate.com, meditation. So art and honor /meditation.com. And I will post it. My friend Emily recorded this beautiful meditation. And everyone I've sent it to is out like a light. You know, there's just something very zen about it. And it's just bringing your body down, to gradually, it brings it down to a point where you can just like let go. And that's the best sleep, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So okay, let's go to the worst things you can do for your body. We've talked about, let me just check the time. So
Yeah.
we're at, okay, good. So we're like halfway through the show.
Are we on Facebook, Maria?
Yeah, we should be.
Okay.
I mean, it should be going because that's what I checked. Someone saying that we're, actually, if someone,
LP.
Okay. And what did she say? We're not on?
She said she's been watching, but she didn't see it. But I know we're on the radio.
Okay, so we are on the radio, and I know it's recording because it says, live, it's going. Sometimes weird things happen with, so
Social
we're all
media.
listening, and I posted the live for all, okay. So I don't know, Leo, maybe, Leo, if you're there and you want to call in, maybe you can tell us what's happening because, you know, these are things that, I mean, the radio station's going through, so we have that. It is recording. Sometimes it doesn't come through a live feed. And then once we save it, then people can watch it.
All right.
So there's a lot of different things that can go on, but it is being recorded because it says live, and those are the minutes that it's happening. So,
That's
okay,
right.
we talked about some of the best things you can do for your body. What are some of the worst things that you can do for your body? And you can answer individually or together, whatever.
Some of the worst things. We talked about depriving your body of water and hydration, right? That was covered already. We talked about
Hold on,
sleep
here comes
deprivation.
Leo Rodriguez. Leo Rodriguez!
Yes.
Hi, Leo. Hold on a second, honey. Put you on speaker. So, Rio, what's going on out there? Are we coming through?
I can hear you on radio, but I don't see any picture posted that you went live. So
Okay, so
you're posting on Facebook.
that's so weird because it says live from our end of it. And I don't want to end it. So what I'm thinking is it may not be going live now, but then I'll save it either way and then repost it. So you don't, because I checked my page and I could see it on my page.
Go to the phone.
Yeah, when I went to my page, I could see it.
Check
So-
the page.
We'll check.
We'll check, but we're gonna keep doing our thing. And there we are. You
No,
see,
it says
so
you're
we are
live now.
live.
It says it on my phone.
It says it on my phone too. So maybe it's different people. I'm not gonna worry too much about it because we will see. It says Jacqueline Marie. Yeah. So I think it just might be a Facebook glitch, but then we'll save it and it'll come back on. See, Jack is. All right, so just maybe keep clicking out and clicking back on.
We're on.
We're definitely on.
I see myself here.
I see myself too.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be there. But thank you, Leo. Our accidental assistant has called in and is checking in. All right. Thank you, honey.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Leo. Bye. Love you too, honey. So cute. All right. So you know what? You got to roll with the punches.
Absolutely.
But it will. Don't worry. It'll save, and then we'll be able to click it back on. Jill Anderson. Okay. We see. All right. So it'll be fine. All right. So we were talking. Okay. So let's continue with the worst things that you said. Go ahead. What do you think is like?
Well, besides sleep deprivation, which you want to sleep. Right?
Yeah, that's my big thing.
You know, hydration, which you want to drink, specifically water and specifically plain water. Every once in a while, sure, mix it with something if you need to. Stuff, you know, preferably like lemon or anything. That's right. You know, the main thing also is there's a lot of different things that like we were talking just before with regard to how the body reacts to different types of foods too. So to the individual that has specific issues that, you know, with inflammation, for instance.
Yeah, please. That's like such a good one.
You know, figure out whether, you know, you can have dairy, you can. Figure out whether you can have wheat or you can't. Figure out if, you know, if your sugar intake is too much.
So those are the things that cause inflammation.
Yeah, so, I mean, for sure, dairy is a big one. It's a
Really?
huge one, yeah. Even in the Max Challenge that I was doing, there's no dairy in their nutrition program at all. It gets
Really?
cut out
Wow.
from day one,
Sure.
unless it's your treat meal. But
Okay.
you know, but other than that, dairy.
Too many grains as well, especially if they're processed grains.
Well,
Processed, yeah.
See, this is the thing. What I was talking about, like, you know, like you'll go years thinking something is so good for you,
Yeah,
and then all of a
absolutely.
sudden you realize it's not good for you, and it's like so confusing to know what is. And I think, I mean, for me, what I've learned, like that different foods are work for different people, and it's just finding.
Absolutely. Some people don't have allergic reactions to specific foods, and some people do. Unfortunately, because we like specific things and stuff, we may not want to give up that thing.
Right.
So, which, you know, I've been definitely guilty of that. You know?
Oh, yeah,
me
for sure.
too. Mine
Most
is
of my
you know,
life,
mine
you
is
know?
Diet Coke. Like I'm down to like maybe 1 or 2 a day. I was drinking like 10 a day.
Sure.
Crazy amounts of Diet Coke.
Sure.
And I knew it wasn't good for me, but it's so hard to like completely,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay.
Well, even if you cut out the Diet Coke or even half it, let's just say,
Right.
because it's very hard, you know, to stop something cold turkey. I do get it. You know, Diet Coke and all these other diet sodas, they have aspartame, like fake sugar.
Right.
And, you know, now there are studies showing that aspartame is linked to memory loss, or aspartame is linked to, you
A
know,
lot of things.
so
it
many
even kills
things.
your natural flora.
Yeah.
You know, people
With-
don't understand
so,
With
that.
flora.
like
What's
the
that?
Your
good
natural
bacteria that
probiotics,
you have in the
good
gut.
gut bacteria that basically allow us to, one, lose body fat and weight. 2, it helps us with regard to diseases you know, in
Wow.
our body. You know, our good bacteria kills bad bacteria, funguses, viruses, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if we're taking in specific foods, and these specific foods like Diet Coke and many other foods are basically killing our gut bacteria
Wow.
over time, as we get older, our body doesn't replenish it as quickly.
Right.
You know, when we're younger, I used to be able to eat anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
I would eat,
God,
like,
me too.
2
Eat
full
or
pieces of
drink
pie.
anything.
I remember. And like
And
like
smoke.
a whole gallon of soda right on top of that. So,
Yeah.
but you know, I can't do that anymore.
Did you ever smoke, Jay? Did you ever smoke
No,
cigarettes?
that's the one thing I didn't
No,
do. I
you
took
neither?
a couple of puffs
Never.
one day, and it's like, you know, my mother died of heart disease
Yeah.
at a young age, and she was a smoker and stuff, and that always repelled me because I stayed away from the smoke itself.
Yeah.
Because I said, you know what, I don't want to follow that path, and I want to set a good example for you know my family, my nieces, my nephews, and you know, people that I love and stuff like that. I want to stay along the lines of trying to be as healthy as I possibly can be, and you know, one of the ways to do it is you know, you live by example. Live by example. People a lot of times will not do what you say, will do what you do.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So you know, if I can be a better influence and stuff, and you know, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So diet, sleep deprivation, diet sodas. Those are 2 things that I do. See, it's like, so those are 2 of the worst things that you can do.
Yeah, I think smoking. You started talking about it.
Without
Yeah,
doubt.
I mean, I quit
that's like
over
top.
20 years ago.
That's like,
Right.
that's
Smoking's
top.
the top.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and now everybody's doing they're vaping or they're using the jewel pods, to try.
Okay,
to
so
help.
what do you think of that?
So-
Is that better? Is
No.
it no? Okay, very
So-
interesting.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I know that some people, even my wife, have used vapes to help them stop smoking because they feel like, hey, it's not the actual cigarette.
Mhm.
It's water vapor, it's other things. We have no idea what chemicals are in those things and what they're going to do in the long term.
Right.
Those jewel pods, the little jewels,
Yes.
they look like that. So one jewel pod is equivalent to one whole pack of cigarettes.
Wow.
That's it. One pod is
Wow.
one pack of cigarettes. And it is so easy to puff on that thing whenever you want. You could do it in a bathroom, in a restaurant, in your car.
Right.
It doesn't, it's almost like the cigarettes, you can't do them, you can't smoke them. I mean,
You
in other
almost like
places.
they'll regulate because
Right.
you can't do them everywhere. You will regulate more.
But these vapes have no smell. They have
Right.
nothing, with them. So you're ingesting all of this into your lungs. Your lungs are meant for oxygen only, and that's it.
Right.
Your lungs are supposed to be
Yeah,
for oxygen.
It's interesting.
And that's the point.
And moisture will allow more nutrients to be absorbed into the body too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I mean,
Really?
Listen,
Okay.
you go to a steam room and stuff, you're completely relaxed. Your pores,
Breathing.
stuff. It just the skin alone is absorbent.
Yes.
The skin alone. That's why even using specific types of deodorant that have too many chemicals in it is not a great thing either, because the simple fact that your body does absorb these chemicals.
Wow.
It does go into your bloodstream, into your lymph nodes.
Now let's go. I know. Let's go to steam rooms. Do you think they're a good idea or not a good idea?
Yeah, they don't do anything bad.
No,
They don't
there's
hurt you.
nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. I mean, unless you overdo it. Steam
Right.
rooms and saunas are great. Saunas basically tend to have less bacteria because there's not, bacteria doesn't thrive as much in moisture.
Right.
But and steam rooms, the bacteria does thrive a little
Yeah,
bit more.
yeah,
It's watch
yeah.
for the molds
So,
and things.
yeah,
Because you
so-
hear different people ask
Yeah.
different questions
I mean,
like
if you
that.
have breathing problems, you have asthma, and it's really difficult, and that air is too thick. I mean,
Yeah.
that might be too much for
If you have heart problems as
Yeah.
well, you have to watch with heat.
Mhm.
That's really important. Like, doctors really recommend, be careful with too many hot things if you
Yeah.
have a heart condition. Even flying,
Yeah.
even flying. So,
Okay.
and
Here's a-
regulate the time. Regulate the time that you're in,
That you're
a
in.
sauna or a steam room.
Yes.
Don't go in there and stay there for like a half hour or an hour. or
All right. I
something
want
like
to talk about the flying thing.
Okay.
Sure.
I love this. Okay. So I am a person that I don't like to fly, not because I'm afraid of flying. My ears get so screwed up,
Mhm.
and my balance. Then from that,
Mhm.
it takes forever, and I've just had problems when I fly. Like, it takes me a while to feel my body is regulated again.
Right.
I know people that pass out when they fly,
Mhm.
and that's from the pressure?
It depends. I mean, I think the passing out could be the pressure, but I think that is a lot of anxiety too when people fly.
Okay.
There's something called a vasovagal attack.
I've
which is
heard
when-
this, so go ahead.
Yeah, which is when your vagus nerve gets compressed. And now that can be from either hyperventilating, that can be from pressure, that can be from excessive heat, and then that's kind of how your body's trying to get rid of it, and then they pass out. It's the same phenomenon when someone sees blood and they pass out.
Okay.
That's a vasovagal attack.
Oh, all
Or
right.
they give blood, or they donate blood, and they pass out, or it's really hot and they're on stage, and all of a sudden that gets overwhelming and they pass out. That's a vasovagal attack.
Full of
Vasovagal.
anxiety.
Kind of, that can force that on. That can kind of bring
So
that
it's
onto it.
constricting, something gets
Presses
constricted.
on it, and then it kind of
Oh,
goes
that's
to. So
interesting.
it will
Wow.
lower your heart rate. It'll lower the blood pressure. So we'll say, like, even when I was working in the hospital, it's like, oh, this guy's he's gonna vagal, or she's gonna vagal, and because we know we can watch it. We can watch it happen. That white. You ever see somebody
Yeah,
pass out when
yes.
they turn white, and it's just like, oh god, they're
Oh,
going
there they
down.
go.
Or the
Yeah.
eyes roll.
Right.
That's kind of like a vasovagal attack.
Wow,
So
that's interesting.
that happens.
I wasn't
for
sure if it
people on
was the
planes, too.
pressure, but that because people are afraid.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's
now
fear.
if you have that pressure in your ears, I've flown before, and when you have like your sinus issues and you have
It's
that
bad.
pain,
It's
there
bad.
is
It's very
nothing
painful.
like that
Yeah,
pain.
I've had that.
You're
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
tears that you can't
Right.
get it. You could chew all the gum you want
Yeah,
and
it
pop your
just
ears, and no
does
matter
not
what,
work.
it doesn't
Gum
work.
does
Yeah.
not work for that. Yeah, it's
So
insane.
A lot
Sometimes
of
it does.
yeah,
but
sometimes it does, which is
A
fine.
lot of
But
times it does not.
if you have sinus issues, if you have congestion and allergies and whatnot, or have people who have had really bad wax in their ears or other things like that, that can happen.
Okay.
More times often than not, it's an underlying sinus thing. Now I'm never.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
An
so
underlying sinus thing.
I have some people who do sinus rinses before they fly.
Yeah.
Like just like neti pots or
I love
other
neti
things.
pots.
And
Actually, I think they're
yeah,
great.
I mean, if you're using clean water, they're fine. You know what I
Right.
mean? When you use the neti pots with bacteria, then they're not
Yeah,
great.
no.
So like,
Really,
it's not.
really,
Yeah, just have to be careful.
sanitize,
But yeah.
absolutely.
But it works great, you know. Or there are some people, what the pilots do actually sometimes, and I don't love Afrin because Afrin is habit forming. But what the pilots will do sometimes is they actually will take Afrin about a half an hour or so before
mean
they
the
fly.
spray?
The nasal spray, yeah, before they fly, just to clean everything out.
Okay,
even if
that's
they're not
interesting.
congested, and then that doesn't happen.
Oh,
Now,
all right.
Afrin is immediately like, if you've ever taken it,
Yeah.
and you're super congested.
You've
and
had to.
10 minutes.
I've only taken it when I've had to.
10 minutes you're decongested, but again it's that rebound. So anything that's a quick fix, people want a
Right.
quick fix. Afrin
Yeah.
is great. I'm congested, you take Afrin, it's gone.
I don't like
The
the way I
problem-
feel though. It makes me feel jittery.
Yeah, that, and then you have a rebound of congestion. So within
Oh.
10 to 12 hours you're actually be more congested than you were,
Really.
and then you need to take it again.
Isn't that
And then
interesting?
you do, and you need to
I
take it
wonder
again.
if
And
they
then that's why
if they
it's habit
make
forming.
those things purposely like that, so that you need.
So
to
now
develop
you're
them.
helping to spread the big pharma rumor. So there.
Well, no, but that's what. I mean, I think.
That's it.
I
Okay.
think about this. I think about this all the time.
No,
like,
but it's you know.
then that because it's sales. Look, I've been in sales since
Mhm.
1983.
Yeah, so
You know,
but Afrin will destroy your septum if you really use it that much, you know. And there are
there's
certain
a lot of things to think about. What are some of the foods? Now we're running out of. Believe it or
Wow,
not,
we're
we're-
talking
the-
so much.
no, but it's great. I do want to do our food section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So okay, this is a section of our show called "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." Jackie, jump in there with us. Go ahead, keep eating. All right. So tonight, what did I make? As I said, I've been on a low carb diet, high protein, low carb, a little bit of fats. So I made chicken. I took just chicken breasts, cut them up, and I have avocado oil
Nice.
for the fats. Also, because avocado oil, you can turn it up really super, super high. And
It's a high heat oil.
High heat
That's
oil,
great.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
and
those
it
are
doesn't burn, and also you don't have to like bread it. It still gets a nice like kind of flavor to it. So then I have parsley, garlic, red onions, a little bit of oregano, and some more like Provençal flavors.
great.
So
Oh,
that's
that
what I
smells-
did.
that
Does it
really
smell
smells
good?
Amazing.
All
It
right,
really
and I
does.
As
figured
soon
we
as I
just
walked in, I
Yeah,
was
me
like,
too.
I'm
I said the
hungry.
same
we
thing.
would just have that with a nice. I love my damn salads. I think
I love
salads
the
have.
salads too.
I think they've saved me all these years of eating all that junk. But so tonight,
It's
I know
a
you
beautiful
look.
presentation.
Thank you.
It looks
Jay.
It's really good.
I know you love kale. Jay loves
I
kale.
love kale.
And but me, if I have just kale, then I can't do it. It's just overwhelming for me.
That's right.
Kale,
I like
as
a
I
little
say,
color,
Get
a little color in
gorgeous
there.
sometimes, though, yeah,
So I
absolutely.
added some romaine, some kale, some red cabbage, which I love.
Yeah.
Shredded red cabbage. I have scallions in here.
Love scallions.
Nice.
Yep, they're great. And
That's
then orange peppers
Oh, love
and some
peppers.
baby Persian cucumbers.
Orange pepper is just nice and sweet as well.
So now for this, I think we can go with an extra virgin olive oil and just
Mm.
a plain, delicious balsamic,
That's great.
nice vinaigrette.
That
And it's
sounds
good that you
really
didn't
great.
cook them too, because that actually keeps all those nutrients inside. Because I mean, sometimes when you break it down, when you cook everything,
Yeah,
you're not getting that raw vegetable.
I
Yeah.
love
Raw
it.
vegetables are great
Sure.
for you.
And I
for
love
sure.
vegetables. Believe it or not, I think that's kind of saved me my whole
Yeah.
life. Because you know why? My dad had a garden, so he grew his own vegetables always, and so we loved it. We would like go in the garden and he had sugar snap peas, and we just eat them, or carrots or zucchini or little baby watermelons or tomatoes. Forget it. So we were used to like my mother would say, go in the garden. I need get some basil, and everything tastes amazing.
It's great.
So we weren't kids who you had to force to eat vegetables. We
Yeah.
loved them. Okay, so what did I do? I'm going with a healthy summer.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love
Beautiful.
strawberries. So I cut up some strawberries. Strawberries are, if Dr. Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're loaded with niacin.
Niacin.
Yep, so that's always good for you. And these are, I've been eating these from Trader Joe's. They're so good. They're low carb, and low sugar, but they're really good. They're pecan, peach cookies from Trader Joe's,
Wow,
and they're
that's
great.
nice.
They're
There you
super
go.
healthy.
That
I'm all
amazing.
about it.
Yeah,
Let's do
and
it.
they're just really good, and it's not a lot. Because look, the thing is, I'm not the kind of person that wants to deprive myself. Eating is a big part of my life,
It is a part
Yeah.
of my
and I'm a great
Yeah,
cook, and I
yeah.
want to be able to do that. So, but like for the summer, I just have to fit into my clothes.
Yeah.
So this is good. If I get into these good habits,
It's
you
good.
know,
But you don't want to come wintertime
And then,
like reverse the good habits. Keep the habits going. Keep
Yeah.
right.
It's what a lot of people will say is failing to plan is planning to fail. So you got to meal prep.
Wait, say that again. I love that.
You like that? That was
Yeah.
good. So
Say that again.
So failing to plan is planning to fail.
Meaning failing to plan your meals or what you're going to do.
What
Okay,
you're
this
gonna
is
do,
great.
like how you got to take care of yourself. So I think it's a really big.
Plan it out or you fail.
That's
basically.
Right. One of the
We
things.
don't want you to fail.
No, I love that though. But one of the things that I've been doing and Judy's been doing as well is we've been going food shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And Judy is a planner anyway. She is a planner. Such a planner.
She's a smart girl. I have
She
to say.
really is.
She's a very smart girl.
But she really will buy a couple days worth of food. She'll make a delicious meal for us, and then she'll make her lunch for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she'll have it done and ready, and then she'll know what we're having for dinner.
That's so great.
It's really
awesome.
amazing, and
Yeah.
really strives that she's very good about staying healthy.
That's good.
But it's true because for me, if I don't plan what I'm gonna, let's say I'm on my way to one of my night jobs, right, which are 8-9 hour long shifts.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna end up doing if I don't bring something to eat, I'm gonna go to the taco truck,
Of
I'm gonna go to
course.
the deli,
Absolutely. I mean, listen,
I'm gonna get diner
you gotta
food,
eat.
Mhm.
You gotta
Yeah.
eat.
or I'm just gonna grab garbage,
Yeah.
Right.
pretzels, potato chips, garbage. It's gonna just ruin everything. So I have to what I've been trying to do now is just make something before I leave the house and bring it with me,
That's
and it's great. It holds me over till I get home.
Exactly.
So let me see what we have for time here. I'll have to put on one of my pairs of glasses. Jesus Christ, I'm like a crazy old lady. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes left.
Aw.
All right.
This is so fun though.
It's so fun, and we'll do it again because we're gonna. I just wanted to introduce Dr. Jackie Giuliano to everybody.
Jackie
She's
Giuliano.
going to be our official.
You're awesome, bro.
No, you're
Doctor-
awesome. I'm excited to have
I know, and you
We
guys.
should do this again.
This is a really good team.
Yeah.
Really good team. And what I'm going to do in the future too, I want to get Barbara Cavallo on and Lois Abramacek. They're both wonderful therapists that are true believers in wellness and health and all that stuff. And they're really Zen, wonderful, creative people. And I want to get them on. It's just the summer is really hard for them because they have all these workshops they do. So we're going to do a lot of these different things. So of course, What's the Story with Maria is a show where we celebrate and creative people and the wonderful, thriving, surviving, living as a creative person. But in order to thrive and live and survive, you have to be healthy.
Yes.
And you have to be happy. And so if you're listening out there and you're thinking, oh, God, come on, I go to this show so I don't have to think about stuff. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. We just want you to live a good life.
You have a choice. How
You have
about
a choice.
that?
Go
It's
ahead.
that simple. You simply have a choice. And that's what we're here to give you a choice, not here to shove something down your throat. Because nobody wants, no one wants to be controlled in life. So just, we educate ourselves. That's what we should do, and then we should basically take the choices from there that we learn and just apply them in our lives. Help others too while we're at it. Help ourselves, help our family, help those around us. Hey, by the way,
And Jay, you said that you were a chubby kid, right?
Oh yeah.
So what
chubby kid.
was it that was it your mom's health and it just changed the way you thought about life, or?
Growing up with the typical Latino diet, basically, I ate a lot of amazingly rich foods, but they were extremely unhealthy, and that brought me to a place where I had skin conditions. I had really, really chronic sinus problems. I had very bad allergies, and those things turned around simply with food. I tons of sinus medication and skin creams and stuff like that. None of that really helped me with it treated some of the
topical stuff.
Of course,
But it's not
the moment, but it didn't treat the underlying.
Uh-huh.
The only way that I needed to treat the underlying was to educate myself and then finally actually start, kind of pushing through a little bit, because there's a lot of, discomfort in not wanting to
change is hard.
Change,
It's very
not
hard.
wanting to change, which is normal. That's a normal
Right,
thing
and
for everyone,
anything.
That's why there should be no shame around this.
Yeah, but I like that you said that about the shame.
Yeah, me too.
And Jackie, because we are kind of winding down now.
Yeah.
So to
Thank you,
motivate.
Maria, by the way.
Oh my
Yeah, this is
God,
awesome
I'm
for
loving
having
this.
us.
Are you
This
kidding?
is
This is
so
so
cool.
good. And I feel so chill now. This feels so good. I don't feel like anyone is shoving anything
Yeah.
down my throat. I'm inspired, you know.
But that's what you should take from it. You should take the motivation and run with it. You know what I mean? You have to. I mean, just like, you know, if you take a bath or you take a shower, you're going to get dirty the next day. If you don't keep motivating yourself,
That's a great way
you're
to
going
put it.
to lose it. You have to, yeah, exactly. You have to maintain that. You need
Okay,
to
let
keep
me ask
motivating
you
yourself.
one more thing as we're closing
Yeah.
out. If someone does slip where they don't do so well one day,
Mhm.
what's a great way to get right back on it?
I mean, you have to remind people of the time where they felt good. You're going to start exercising. You're going to start changing your nutrition, and you're going to start, you know, just feeling better about yourself. And you're going to see the difference. And then there's going to be the barbecues, and there's going to be the birthday parties, and there's going to be the Friday nights and Saturday nights where you go out and you do this, and they're like, you know, and then you're going to go out and eat and drink and do whatever else you want to do. And you're going to maybe just remember, oh, that was so much fun. I want to do that. I want to do that. You can still go out and do that. You have no nutrition plan should be not sustainable. You can't say I'm never going to have a carb again in my entire life. It's not going to happen.
You find balance.
Yeah, you have to find a good balance, you know. And it's, for me, you know, I think that people really do need to don't be afraid of your doctor. Don't be afraid of your trainer. Don't take that shame. You have to. People are afraid. I don't want to go to the
Keep
doctor
an open mind.
Exactly.
Definitely keep an open mind.
Jimmy, how we doing?
That's it. I'm sorry.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
So.
Jackie, tell them where you work so they can find you.
Okay, so I work at Family Practice of Centra State, not the New York Center State. Centra State, CENTRA. I work at the Marlboro location. So I am there every weekday but Wednesdays, so you could definitely go and check it out and take a new patient.
Go see Dr. Jackie
right.
and
in New Jersey. So
in Jersey, right?
Yes.
And how do they find you, sir? Jay Rivera.
I work over at Train Station NYC, which is on 49 West 24th Street, as a trainer and nutrition as well. And yeah, I mean, you can find me on Facebook as well. You know, Jay Rivera on Facebook. Just look me up, and I will gladly, you know, if I can be of help in any way, sure, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, I want to thank you both. This was so
Definitely.
great.
Thank
We're going
you
to
for
do it
having
again.
us.
We're starting our 3rd season, and we want to say thank you to Jim Bell. We'd be lost without
Thank
Jim
you,
Bell.
Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Joe Rocks, and
Thanks,
we're gonna come back with all this great stuff. Come back every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.